You guys, we need to talk about what's been going on between Michaela, Testa, Anna Paul, and her brother Addis, because this situation has been one that I've talked about on my channel before, as Michaela came out to expose Anna. Anna replied, then TEACAP got involved. Michaela has now come out with a podcast that is about 5 hours long. It is split into two different parts where she is exposing Anna's family. Addis has responded now. Anna has responded. Michaela's responded back. It has been a whole thing, and we are going to break down what is going on right now. Buckle up, because this is one of these stories where halfway through you're gonna forget you're even talking about influencers, because the vibes are no longer about some TikTok beef. We are talking about serious allegations, emotional trauma, and just genuinely disturbing behavior. Like, this isn't drama anymore. This is straight up dark. So if you haven't been keeping up, we are talking about Michaela, Testa, and Anna Paul, who are huge TikTokers. They have millions of followers. They do OF, and they used to be close friends. Used to be. Michaela even dated Anna's brother Addis. But in January, Michaela came out in a now viral TikTok exposing Anna for being fake, claiming that she talks badly about her own fans behind their backs, and accusing her of lying about growing up broke when her family was actually well off. She also accused her of mistreating her pet birds. She made very serious accusations against Anna's brother as well, including alleging that he committed a crime, which went completely unaddressed when Anna eventually responded, which was another reason why people were so upset at Anna when she came out to address this, because she neglected to mention anything about Addis in her response. She mostly talked about how surprised she was that Michaela turned on her, said she might have called someone sweaty, but denied fat shaming, and then kind of deflected everything else by saying online bullying like this leads to mental health struggles. And in regards to her being accused of lying about how she grew up, she said that she felt broke. The comment section was flooded with people accusing her of gaslighting her followers, and people started to hit that unfollow button quickly. Since then, it has not stopped. Michaela came out with 2 full podcast episodes in March exposing even more. She launched her podcast, The Unsaid Podcast with Michaela Testa, and the title of her videos were My Experience with the Paul Family episode 1 and 2. This time she was going deeper into her relationship with Addis, sharing receipts, stories, timelines, and it was intense. So serious that even when the Daily Mail reported on the situation at first, they wrote, "For legal reasons, the allegations made by Michaela in her videos cannot be republished here." But to recap what she said on her podcast without catching some sort of lawsuit, which I honestly don't see, because there's something about Michaela saying all of this and not being sued that tells me a lot, and it's saying a lot to other people as well, even though Anna is saying that the reason why she's not suing is because it is expensive and it takes a very long time to sue someone over this, and that just because they are not suing her doesn't mean that Michaela is in the right here. So that is what they're saying about that situation. But since they're not suing her, I will recap what the heck has been said by Michaela to a certain extent in this video. So in her podcast, Michaela said that Addis was extremely manipulative during their relationship. She claimed that he would allegedly emotionally blackmail her, especially when she tried to leave him. She alleged that Addis would threaten to harm himself if she ever left him. She said things would allegedly get physical as well, and that their shared social circle knew what was going on but did nothing. She also alleged that Addis allegedly took 50% of her income under the guise of managing her content and career. After they broke up, she claims that he tried to hack into her accounts and try to take money and things from her, and that he would continue to try and access her accounts even when they were not together, and just kept tabs on her. And she said that she experienced PTSD from the relationship and was afraid of speaking out for a long time. And she's been clear that she knows some people will say that she's doing this for attention or clout, but she insisted that the point was to finally share her truth after being silent and scared for so long. She also expressed frustration that Anna has continued to platform and defend Addis despite allegedly knowing what he's done, even laughing about it privately, according to Michaela. She detailed the situation with a knife and showed that she had this alleged proof of Anna acknowledging the situation and that it was traumatic by showing a text exchange where Michaela had texted Anna and said, "Definitely remember that knife-ish at the Pimontori after the big fight? That's the worst he's done." And apparently Anna replied and said, "Yeah, that traumatized me. I can't even go in that room anymore or smell that room." room. She also showed receipts from texts between her and Anna's ex-boyfriend Glenn of the two of them recounting behaviors of Addis, showing alleged confirmation that she wasn't making these scenarios up. One message said, "Yeah, I don't know Addis's deal. Hey, it was a 24/7 job keeping him in check so that Anna was all right. F being in a relationship with that." Michaela alleged that though Anna knew all this about her brother, she actively tried to convince Michaela that her brother was a good person. She said that she felt like chopped liver and that Anna's brother was the only thing that mattered, and that she was burdening Michaela with the responsibility of keeping her brother alive by staying with him, by saying things allegedly like, "And because you're the only one that can get through to him. No joke, the things that you say to him could save his life." When it comes to Anna and Addis, she talks about how Addis had allegedly taken some of her OF content, saying that he took photos of them while they were together. So she witnessed this allegedly, which a lot of people are so sicked out by. Later, Michaela details Addis and his ex-girlfriend, who dated when she was 13 and he was 16 allegedly. When she spoke out about him, she was sent a cease and desist letter that Michaela alleged Addis wrote himself to send her and try and scare her and get her to like hush up. Michaela says that at the time when they were together and all this was coming out, Addis was telling her that, Alice was making the situation out to be something that it wasn't, and that the ages being said weren't true, and that she was lying about everything. And Michaela says that he was convicted over this situation, but Daily Mail was able to get more information on this, and they wrote, according to court documents obtained by the Courier Mail, Addis 24, legal name Johannes Theodore Paul, pleaded guilty to 3 charges of knowledge of a girl aged 12 to 16 in incidents which occurred between December 2017 and October 2018. Addis was aged 16 to 17 at the time of the offenses. However, he was dealt with as an adult since criminal proceedings began in 2022. He was sentenced at Southport District Court and issued a $1,500 recognizance, given a 12-month good behavior bond in order to pay $1,000 compensation, and they also wrote no convictions were recorded. And Michaela had unedited footage of Addis and Anna addressing the accusations from his ex and how unserious they were taking this situation.
For the most part of the relationship, I barely thought she was hot. Should have been more clear. It's not stupid. Sorry, I really should, but here is the definition of what a...
And Michaela says Anna was allegedly just lying and covering for the fact that Addis was the one who sent that fake cease and desist, and that they were trying to say that it was their team that sent it when it was really him.
I want to make it very clear that personally, we had nothing to do with this letter. We didn't even know this letter was being sent. It is something that our management did behind the scenes. It is something that we have nothing to do with. I'll cut out the ums, but... So I just want to make it very clear that none of us sat there and wrote a letter and, we're gonna harass a little girl. It was not like that at all. So the claim stating that we sent out a letter to a little girl for no reason, so the claim stating that we sent out a letter to a 17-year-old for no reason are completely false. We personally had nothing to do with this letter.
She said she later believed what was coming out about Addis because as things were exposed about who Addis really was, she realized it sounded similar to the things that were happening in her relationship with Addis, and she was like, oh my gosh, like these can't be lies if, these things are happening to me, and they are telling very similar stories to what is happening to me. She just started to look at Anna and Addis's family very differently. Now, in part 2 of Michaela's podcast, she brings up Sarah, who is Anna and Addis's half-sister, and she says that they were not really too close with her, but she was also an online creator, and Michaela thought that they should be friends and even organized a meetup for Anna and Sarah, and they all hung out together, which she says Anna's mom was not happy with, and that she was allegedly bullied by their mom because she had kind of like set this whole hangout up, and that Michaela was just like not liked by the mom. Now, in speaking about Sarah, who is Anna and Addis's half-sister, she actually came out to speak on the whole situation. So Sarah Paul came out to speak on the situation, saying that she wasn't going to get into her childhood and family life, but that she 100% is in support of Michaela.
I 100% stand with Michaela, and I 100% stand with Cat Clark. in light of everything they have spoken about. And collectively, I believe we all stand against violence.
Now, since Sarah's spoken out, since Michaela's two-part podcast, Addis has now spoken out on social media. He posted on Instagram in regards to Michaela, and he wrote, "I'm sorry it's taken me this long to speak. I had hoped that Mick would find peace after telling her story and I could continue to stay off the internet, but it seems she is intent on using our toxic relationship as a weapon to destroy Anna and assume her life. I want to start by saying Anna had no place in our relationship, and surely in 2025 we can agree that my mistakes are mine. Just because Anna is the well-known one, that doesn't excuse blaming another woman for the mistakes of her brother. The blame rests with me and Mick. To blame my bad choices and actions on another woman for clicks and views is disgusting. Our relationship was toxic, unhealthy, and destroyed both of our mental health. Some of the stories she has told are true, most are absurdly exaggerated, and some are so twisted I'm in shock. My aim in posting isn't to say, look how great I am, or I was wonderful and she wasn't. I was awful and I know that, but even in my darkest moments, I wasn't the person she has invented in her mission to become Australia's most followed influencer. I was a damaged, insecure, and sad person throughout our relationship. I did struggle with my mental health, and that's no secret, and I regret that anyone ever had to bear that burden, especially my girlfriend. Mick also struggled with her mental health from day one, sharing disturbing and difficult stories from her childhood. We all urged her to get help and supported in our own ways. Most of those conversations were in person, and those that are in voice notes and messages are not mine to share. They're far too dark and personal to be brought to the internet, especially when they're not my story to tell. Toxic doesn't even begin to describe how I was at times, but to pretend that was one-sided is simply not true. A few facts to clarify, and he goes on to deny Michaela's allegations about the knife situation and some other things that she said about him that she said happened to her. He claims that he did nothing but help and care for her when she got her BBL, and says anything more occurred is a lie. And he also wanted to explain why he took a cut of her OnlyFans money. He wrote, "To start, you need to understand that unless she's scheming or plotting against someone, Mick is extremely lazy, which is why she had an assistant for 3 years to help her do regularly daily chores. She hated doing anything with her page because it was work. She complained endlessly about her previous manager and wanted me more involved because she wanted to make more money. Our roles from the outset were clear. Mick's roles: she would post her photos or videos, edit her photos. My role: film and upload the content to the platform, feature in her socials to promote the page on my own socials, manage the page. Yes, that includes messages. So if you paid to message Mick during that time, you were talking to me or later the employees we used, and from my 50% pay to promote the page through third parties. This was only during when I was paid 50%. I was reimbursed for promos prior when she paid me the 30% her previous manager earned, who did a fraction of the work. She wanted nothing to do with the day-to-day, so I did everything as we agreed as partners. This is confusing. However, it shows months when I managed the page versus didn't. I didn't manage for many ongoing months as Mick would fire me, then beg me to take it back over." And he shows screenshots of when he managed the page and she earned over $156,000 that month, and then when he wasn't managing the page, she made $55,000 a month. He said, "She told you that I definitely didn't use any of the money to fund promos. I was robbing her. I wouldn't bother posting everyone, but here are just a few of the hundreds of promos I paid for. I'm not going to keep posting slide after slide, but you get the point." Months after we broke up, she was regularly trying to get me to take back her OF because of the substantial difference in income. She would regularly use money to control me or make me do whatever she wanted, refusing to pay me or reimburse me unless I did whatever she was asking. At one stage, she wanted to start a bikini brand but couldn't bother to do any research, so I found suppliers on Alibaba and arranged for samples that I paid for. She then refused to pay me back, rather demanding I work it off by taking over her page again. Mick is rewriting history to pretend she was manipulated into her involvement in the previous video, when in fact she was its chief architect. Don't get me wrong, I was there pushing everyone to do stupid things, making decisions after bad decision. I'm not proud of any of this. You can even hear her and me, of course, telling Anna what to say in her clip because she had a very clear idea of what she wanted from Anna. He later claims that he was the one trying to get out of the relationship and that she used him for content and still does, and accused her of stalking him and his family and any girl that he comes into contact with. He then posted videos of her to try and prove that she's admitted to being crazy.
"This is just a public service announcement for any man that might be interested in me. You need to stay the hell away from me. First of all, I'm crazy, and I don't mean like, I'm crazy. I mean, I'm crazy. I'm also really evil and nasty. But I'm also like super loving and like kind and like have a sweetheart. But sometimes you don't see that. Sometimes it's like impossible to even think that I have that. You'll think you know who I am, and then the next day I'll be a completely different person, and you're like, whoa. 3 mobile phones with all different phone numbers. Here's 2 of them. I'm filming on one. This one is my main phone that has all my apps on it. This is to stalk my ex-boyfriend's location.
He ended it by saying, "I'm sorry this ended up being so many slides, but the more I looked, the more I was reminded of how bad it was. Again, I'm not posting this to try and make myself look like a hero or to excuse the many mistakes I made. However, it gets to a point where I also have a right to speak. Since our breakup, I have said nothing in response, nothing publicly, whilst I have been the butt of jokes and trash repeatedly. This time, however, is different because the lies have taken a new height, and rather than blame the 2 people responsible for our tragic relationship, you're trying to blame a woman that wasn't involved and inventing stories you've already contradicted online." Now, at the end there, it's very clear Addis is defending Anna, trying to say that, leave her out of the situation between Michaela and I, but Anna came online to address Michaela in a 26-minute long TikTok and right off the bat addressed the video that she was in defending Addis and said it was wrong for her to be in that video and apologized for being in it. She said for that reason, she wouldn't be addressing Addis and Michaela's relationship because she is not trying to be involved in talking about people's relationships. And she says why she is not suing and says that it's because it takes years and it's expensive and not because Michaela is telling the truth and that it's not because, she doesn't have any ground to stand on if she were to go after her. Now, in her video, she says, I brought the receipts, you guys. Like, I haven't seen Michaela in 3 years, and 4 months ago, she was asking me to hang out, and she shows a screenshot of a text where Michaela is texting her saying, "Hey, Anna, Corinna is in Australia for a while now, and we want to see you. Just messaging you to invite you over to my place at some point. We could have some pool beach days and do some snap, let me know." And she says that she went on to later ask her to go to Fiji, where she says, "We're leaving to Fiji on Friday. We actually have a spare room in our villa if you want to come. You said you're busy, but still, Rinna will be leaving December 2nd, but I'll be here all summer." And Michaela posted a response to this on TikTok and explained why she asked Anna to hang out.
I think everybody in the world has amnesia, Anna Paul. You have been commenting on my content for the last couple of years since your brother and I broke up, calling me your sister forever, and you love me so much, wishing me the best on my engagement, publicly commenting, DMing me, being all nice. And even in your first response, you said, "I'm taken aback and I was shocked somebody I was close with said this to me and I'm really confused." But now all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. You've always been a bad guy, particularly in Addis and I's relationship to me. But the way you acted after by being so nice and supportive to me, messaging me and commenting on my stuff, I thought to myself, you know what? It's been so many years. Maybe she's changed.
She also said it was Corinna who wanted Anna to come, and even her fiance came on to speak on this.
"I was here 4 weeks with Corinna Koff when she was visiting Michaela, and I heard multiple times Corinna pushing Michaela to invite Anna to hang out with them, especially to Fiji. I was literally driving Michaela's car. Corinna was in the back, and she told Michaela to invite Anna."
Well,
in Anna's video, she says that Addis does not take her OF content, and she says that she either took her own content or her ex-boyfriend took her content, and Michaela came back with a response to clock her.
lie number 1. This is just the very beginning. Pay attention to the time, the photos at the bottom, background. We've got Burberry slides in the background here. We've got a finger and we've got the slides in the bottom. We've got an individual with a bucket hat. We've got my shoes here. You can see all the photos at the bottom. Date and times. Oh my God, it's your brother in the same shoes. Date and time, same bucket hat. Oh, but he doesn't take our OF content.
Anna also addresses the situation surrounding her birds, and she says her birds are just fine. They have no clipped wings, and went into detail about this.
That is obviously not the case. I actually have photos. You can see in all these photos that I've never clipped my bird's wings, which I don't know why she would say that, because you can prove right here in photos they've never had clip wings, and I actually know exactly where all my birds are with receipts, okay? So I had Quakesy, and he passed away last year, and he was my treasure, and I had him for the majority of my life. Then I had 3 other birds. Now these birds hated each other. They didn't get along. Every time I had them out together, they would just attack each other, and it was a constant struggle trying to keep them from biting each other. So I thought for them to have the best life possible, I'll rehome them. I'll rehome them so they don't have to constantly be attacked by another bird, getting bitten left and right, right? So I'll put up screenshots. My dad helped me rehome them, and here you can see the dates, you can see everything. This is me rehoming my birds.
Then she accuses Michaela of dumping her cat at a shelter.
I think that this whole thing This whole animal thing is just one huge projection from Michaela. Because the second her cat was a minor inconvenience to her, she had her assistant drive her cat to the closest shelter and dump him. Where is your cat, Michaela? Where was he rehomed to? You don't know because you don't care.
She also addresses her dad and the fact that Michaela said that he's homeless, and she says that her dad wants to live a van life, which this was a whole situation last year where people were canceling Anna for being so rich and flaunting her wealth. Meanwhile, it was being exposed that her dad was homeless, and people were like, how could you let that be the case? But then it seemed that her dad was choosing to be a van lifer, and that's what Anna was trying to say in this video. But Michaela clapped back on TikTok and said why she spoke about her dad and said that he is homeless and that he is constantly at the same place crying about his life and that he is sad, allegedly.
She talked about my parents' marriage and made that a segment in her podcast. My parents' marriage is none of your business. What are you doing? You don't know these people.
Anna, I lived with you and your family for almost 3 years. I know these people and I know them very well. Your father and I have had many conversations where he has been upset about things going on in his life. He sits at the Blue Water Grill in Hope Island crying to employees there, dating girls from there, and telling them all sorts of things about how you guys treat him and how he doesn't have money for food. He's running out on bills at the Blue Water Grill. He's going to Woolworths and getting the free fruit from there, and we know that because Woolworths employees know. Anybody living in the Hope Island area knows your father sleeps in the car park down the road from your house for the free Wi-Fi at the shopping center, where security kicks him out. Don't forget, I'm also friends with your blood sister that is fathered by Hans Paul. So if you want to go around and act like I don't know you personally and I don't know things that went down with your father, I had his location for 4 years, an extra year after we broke up, on Life 360. I knew where he was, and he was always at the Water Grill, and he was homeless this whole time. You bullied him. The shit you and your family said about Hans Paul was diabolical, and the only reason why I even brought it up in the podcast is because Veruca was getting so bullied because she brought it to the internet in 2024.
In Anna's video response, she ended it by calling out Michaela for her age gap relationship with the kid Leroy and accusing her of going to his concert after they broke up to film content of her crying, and that she also allegedly sent photos of herself to teenagers in a group chat when she was 19, and says that she is not a nice person and to be careful of supporting her, which is just like wild because I feel like they're both saying that. Like in Michaela's video, she's like, I know Anna, I spent so much time with her and her family, like, you know, trust me because I know her so well. And then like Anna is also saying, trust me, I've spent so much time with Michaela, like nobody knows her like I do, so I know she's lying. Like at this point, it's clear the drama between Michaela, Addis, and Anna isn't slowing down anytime soon with this rapid, amount of content that keeps getting pushed out. And with every video and response, more layers just are unfolding. The past friendship, family dynamics, accusations, receipts, and Anna's following has been dropping since all of this started, and people are saying this whole situation is just really damaging to her image. Whether more people start speaking out or this finally dies down, one thing's for sure, the internet is locked in and everyone is watching to see what more is said. As of right now, that's a lot of what has been said. Addis obviously wants people to get off of Anna's back. Anna doesn't want to be involved in the situation between Michaela and Addis, but Michaela is saying, it's this whole family that is the problem. But let me know if you guys have been following along on this situation. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.